So, it's Saturday night in 1956. Let's walk into our local diner where the air is thick with the smell of burgers, onions, and cigarettes. It's hopping. All the kids are here, and it's noisy. The Hamilton Beach milkshake machine is whining at full capacity. Not loud enough to drown out general conversations and laughter, but loud. And there, in the corner, in all its chrome and glass glory, the Wurlitzer Jukebox glows like a green neon shrine. It magnetically pulls you to it. You drop a dime into the slot. It was only a nickel a couple years ago, but who cares, because you just gotta hear little Richard tell Aunt Mary about Uncle John messing around with long, tall Sally just one more time. You punch A5 and then you lean in and watch the magic through the front glass. Mechanical arms spring to life and pull your 45 RPM record from the rack and drop it onto the turntable. This compulsion wasn't just about listening to music, it was social power. The ability to control the vibe of an entire room for 2 minutes and 7 seconds. I'm Philip Mershon. This is the Mid-Century Vault, and today we're cracking the history of the jukebox. Now, listen, you'd be forgiven if you thought that the jukebox arrived fully and perfectly formed in the 50s for the sole purpose of playing rock and roll, but it really starts in 1889 with an inventor named Louis Glass. He took a Thomas Edison cylinder phonograph, rigged a coin mechanism up to it, and stuck it in the Palais Royal Saloon in San Francisco. He called it the nickel in the slot phonograph. The catch, of course there's a catch, didn't have speakers. You and a small group of friends had to huddle around it, holding stethoscope tubes to your ears, and it only held one cylinder, so same tune over and over and over again. Apparently Louis changed the cylinder every week. Not exactly what you would call a party starter, though it did earn $1,000 in its first 6 months. No, the real boom happened after the repeal of Prohibition in 1933. Bars, taverns, and other establishments of nightly entertainment needed music that was cheaper than hiring a live band, and the coin-operated phonograph was the ideal answer. It was during this time in the South that the name Jukebox was established. The word juke is thought to have derived from the Gullah or Sea Island Creole word juge, and it meant disorderly and wicked. A juke joint was an African-American roadhouse, barrel house, or tavern that sometimes doubled as a brothel. By the 1940s, we enter the golden age dominated by the big three manufacturers: Seeburg, Rock-Ola, and Wurlitzer. The earlier machines looked like dignified, boring wooden radio cabinets, but designers at these companies realized that these machines had to perform even when they were silent. They had to attract those coins out of those pockets from across the dark room. So they embraced the new materials of the era: translucent plastics, rotating color cylinders, and bubbling tubes. The 1946 Wurlitzer Model 1015, the famous bubbler, was one of the most beautiful pieces of industrial design ever. It pretty much screamed, "Gimme that nickel." Meanwhile, Seeburg revolutionized the industry from under the hood. In '48, they introduced the Select-O-Matic, the first mechanism that could play both sides of 50 records, giving you 100 selections. And jukeboxes weren't just cool looking, these machines brought democracy to the ears. During this era, radio was king, but radio of the 40s and 50s was conservative. Sponsors did not want to rock the boat. But jukeboxes, on the other hand, didn't care about sponsors, they only cared about nickels. It was a direct vote by the people on what they wanted to hear. And this was a massive break for artists, specifically in the R&B and country music genres. Suddenly, kids in segregated soda shops or rural diners were exposed to the driving rhythms of Wynonie Harris or Louis Jordan or Ruth Brown. And if a local record distributor saw that a song was getting worn out on the jukeboxes, they ordered thousands of copies for their region, which the kids could now buy and drive their parents crazy with at home. You could safely say that the jukebox was the original viral algorithm. By the 1970s, I can remember alternative newspapers would print lists of local bars and cafes with the best jukeboxes, because at that time, eclectic variety was the big thing. And so you could hear Patsy Cline, the Ohio Players, and the Ramones all back to back to back, and all for a quarter. Well, that's a wrap on episode 55 of the Mid-Century Vault. Actually, before I let you go, if I stood you in front of a Wurlitzer 3600 Superstar and gave you 3 plays for a quarter, what would they be? Let me know down in the comments. Oh, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I'm Philip Mershon. Until the next time, I know it's only rock and roll, but hey, I like it.